Okay, so problem 63 is we have f of x equals to 5 minus 2x cubed, where a equals to 7. Okay, so this is actually y equals 7, or f of x equals 7. Okay, so this is basically, we're given the y and we have to find x here. So we replace, so step 1, change f of x to y, substitute a in for the y value. Okay, so this becomes y equals to 5 minus 2x cubed, and then we put a in for y. So a is 7, so we put 7 in there, equals to 5 minus 2x cubed. Any questions with that so far? Okay, now for here, we could solve, there's only one x value, x cubed, so we don't need to apply the calculator. So we can just apply minus 5 to both sides, and we get 2 equals to negative 2x cubed. And then from here, we can just divide by negative 2, and we get negative 1 equals to x cubed. And then we just apply the cube root. Since x is cubed, we have to apply the cube root so that the cube root and the cube cancel each other out. And we get x equals to a negative 1. Now, when you have an odd root, you don't have to worry about imaginary numbers, because negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. It's not like when you have even roots. So it's okay to get a negative for an odd root. Okay, so from that, now we have our x value, right? Now we have negative 1, 7. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do, so we found our x. Okay, so we don't need to apply the calculator because we were able to solve it directly. Therefore, since f of b equals a, then f inverse a equals b. So, so that means the inverse to this function is going to be 7, negative 1. So the function we put in negative 1, we get 7 out. So if you put negative 1 in here, negative 1 cubed is negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. 2 plus 5 is 7. So it checks. So you have our function, you have x is negative 1, 7 going out, and the inverse is 7 going 1, and you get negative 1 out. Okay, so now we're going to find the derivative of our function. So we take this f of x, I'm just rewriting this original function, 5 minus 2x cubed, and now we're going to find the derivative to that. Well, the 5, that goes to 0, right? And then this will be 2. We bring the 3 down and subtract 1, right? And so this will be 2 times 3x to squared. So our derivative, f prime x, is equal to negative 6x squared. Okay, so that's our derivative, and that's what we did here for step 4. Okay, so now we substitute the b value, or x, into our derivative. So this will be f prime And so we found that's to be -1, right? I shouldn't. So I'll just underline it. So we put -1 in here equals to -6 times -1 squared. Well, -1 times -1, right, is 1. So 6 times 1 is a negative 6 times 1, that's -6. Okay, questions with that so far? Okay, so now we apply F inverse of A. We want to find the derivative of that is the reciprocal of 1 over the derivative for our original function times B. So that would be the same thing as if, so I'm going to rewrite that. F, our inverse, in this case, A is 7, right? A is 7. 7, and all that is the derivative to that equals to 1 over the derivative to 6 to the -1. Okay, so that's this. Okay, and so basically we found that the derivative of -1 is going to be 1 over, so we found this to be -6, so it's 1 over -6, and that's our answer.